Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the podcast from Miami, Florida. I've got Mendel Cohen, and he's a B2B marketer. He's got an interesting background. He's the CEO and founder at Crafted Digital. It's a Miami based B2B digital agency, and we're going to talk about helping your brain grow through technology, data, artificial intelligence. And he's also a two times fantasy football champ, which is really interesting. And so I'm really happy to have him on and discuss his insights and his ideas. So, Mendel, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, excited.
Briefly set the stage, talk about you, and I'm excited to dive into the conversation.
So yeah, I'll piggyback on what you just said. I'm the founder of Crafted Digital. We're a B2B performance marketing agency. We work with brands to really grow their business. So companies that have trouble generating leads or companies that have trouble generating revenue or need to unlock revenue or need to grow in any way, we put together solutions that help them do that. A lot of the solutions that we put together are very innovative and creative and use a lot of technology. We like to say that we build a lot of marketing infrastructure is what we call it. And we can go a bit more in detail about that, but that's pretty much the summarized version. Yeah.
So, we'll dive right into it. And someone that's in the audience that's interested in B2B digital marketing, what are the latest B2B digital marketing trends?
In the past year, there's been so many trends because this industry is very volatile. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of new things. There's a lot of new channels. There's a lot of new ways to make things work. And it really takes a lot of being on top of the trends to be successful in any way. Some of the trends that have been going on recently in the space have a lot to do with AI, of course, because that's just been taking everybody by storm in so many ways, but also to do with a lot of more foundational stuff, things like structure, things like messaging and personalization are some of the key points that have really changed a lot. It used to be that within the B2B space and within marketing as a whole, people would throw out offers and just hope that it sticks. And it's gotten to a point where the market's been very saturated with offers and with marketers and advertisers constantly posting ads. So one of the big trends that's happened.
Go ahead.
So specifically, what I was regarding, I'll make sure this mic doesn't turn off again. Regarding the trends of personalization, that's really been the biggest change. The key thing in winning in B2B marketing right now is being able to promote a very specific offer to a very specific group of people and label them as much as you can. So there's always been this dynamic of trying to reach as many people as once, and it's called like the spray and pray strategy, where you're just reaching out to as many people as you can on as many different channels as you can, and you're talking about your product and you're doing all that. It's really changed a lot to the point where now people are going to only listen to what you have to say if you're tailoring your message towards them. And that means labeling them. That means providing a specific need for them. But besides for that, there's also been a lot of changes in types of content that people are more receptive to. It used to be that everything was gated. It used to be that if you want to get information on a product, you have to fill out a form or do all that stuff or jump through loops. Today, the campaigns that are working well are the campaigns that are transparent, because transparency is going a long way these days. So the campaigns that work well are campaigns that have a lot of very an open source way of showcasing how their products work, the value of their products, the benefits of the products, the features of the products. That's another element that's a little bit non-related to marketing and more related to kind of conversion rate optimization, you can call it. But those are some of the big trends that have been going on in specifically the B2B marketing space.
And so, a follow up question I have for you is what are some of the most effective B2B marketing channels?
In that sense, that hasn't changed so much. It's not really about the channels. It's what's changed more is about how to play with those channels. But Facebook is a big one. Meta ads, you can call them. It's always big. It's always been big. It's got the best system. It's got the best AI behind it for finding conversions and customers. But a close second to that, close second and third really is cold email, mass outreach with an email. You have a lot of data brokers right now, data platforms where you can get a lot of information on who your target client profile is, and from there build data lists, and from there prepare outreach. But the third one, there's some other ones coming up that are becoming more and more relevant. Reddit is one of them. Reddit's doing great stuff in the space, specifically because it offers such specific targeting communities. You can target communities by, they have subreddits for everything, Tesla owners or whatever people have an interest in, there's a subreddit for it. So that offers for the B2B spaces, people that are, let's say, into whether it be real estate investing. You can target people like that, or whether it be in any field, really, there's always these groups. That's been a bit of a more up and coming channel. But besides for that, there are some things that are not as experimented as they should be. And one of the things that people are doing more and more of is things like micro influencers. So in the B2B space specifically, this is a bit of a new thing. It used to be more in the B2C space with creators and all that stuff, but in the B2B space, you're seeing more of these LinkedIn, Twitter influencers that are talking about solutions and software and tips and tricks. And a lot of the times for their own business benefits, not to be an influencer. But a lot of B2B companies have found that they can actually promote their products and create partnerships and things like that. So there's a lot of different ways of approaching B2B marketing that are very different than what it used to be. And it used to be, before all this was a thing, the way to get customers was picking up the phone and cold calling, or having a business development representative actually sourcing people one by one and going to conferences. And really, the internet's made things a lot more accessible for people.
The next question is, because you mentioned B2C marketing, and a lot of the audience listening are B2C marketers, like coaches or whatnot, but B2B is selling sponsorships or advertisers. What are key difference between B2B and B2C marketing that people listening should be aware of?
It's a whole different sort of approach and targeting, and there's differences within both the people you reach out to, obviously, because B2B is more professionals. You're reaching out to businesses and professionals, and B2C it's consumers. There's a whole different sort of, everything about it is different besides maybe the channels that you use. But the call to actions are big. The call to actions are a big difference. Sometimes within B2B, most of the time it's generating leads. Unless it's the case of software, sometimes you're generating free trials or registrations or whatever it is. Within B2C, that's different. The types of advertising is different, because B2C advertising, the messaging, really what you want to do is you want to get someone first in your ecosystem. You want to get them typically to buy your product. If a B2C company is selling, let's say, a cosmetic product, there's a whole different creative approach to it than if it's selling a corporate software. So in terms of the messaging of the ads, in terms of how the landing pages are created, those have their own set of differences. As far as channels go, one of the things with B2C is email marketing is not really a thing. Nobody really uses that for B2C unless you have very specific lists that have that are very customized and have lots of different data points behind them. Sometimes B2C marketers, if they're selling based on location, that can work, but a lot of the times that doesn't really do much. But those are the key differences. I would say really the main thing is offerings, messaging, creative, and ad structures.
Interesting. And how is AI transforming B2B marketing?
It's transferring B2B marketing because it's offering marketers the ability to personalize their messages a lot more. Going back to what I mentioned before with the spray and pray strategy, that's a big thing. It's always been a big thing because you can reach a lot more people at once when you reach them with a very generic message. But what AI has been able to do with a lot of these so-called AI agents, it's been able to research individual contacts at a pace that no human can come close to matching, and then send them personalized messages. So if you have someone that has a very specific set of experiences in their life, let's say, AI can find that, and based on their website or based on their LinkedIn or whatever you want to actually provide the AI, they can go ahead and do their own research. And then when they're doing the messaging, provide customization. So it used to be like, if you have professionals in, let's use a random industry. Let's say they are doing legal software. All right. Let's say they're attorneys, and you're trying to sell legal software to attorneys, for example. Just one example of a B2B campaign. Back before these products were available and before these AI models were available, you would take a bunch of data. You would say, hey, look at my AI product. It does this and this. All right. And here's how it will work for your firm. Today, there's a big difference because the AI models are able to analyze each contact individually, looking through their website, looking through their profile, looking at their past cases, and even small things like mentioning something about the contact, saying, "Hey, John," we were using around John. "I saw, congratulations on your most recent case win for X amount. Here's how you might be able to increase your caseload by doing this and this." So what that does is it automatically changes things to where the guard is a little more down, since you mentioned something that seems somewhat personal, that the contact would think, okay, this message is really meant for me. It's not an ad, it's meant for me. And the best sort of advertising is advertising where the advertisee cannot differentiate whether, you know, it's an ad or not.
Yeah. Now we're gonna move into lead generation and conversion optimization. And the question is, are lead nurturing strategies for B2B different than that for B2C? And how do B2B companies generate leads online?
So here's one of the big differences between B2B and B2C in general.
Yeah.
B2B and B2C have different so-called life cycles, different buyer's journeys. So with B2B, it's a little bit harder because a lot of the times they're higher ticket items. You're not buying a pair of tennis rackets online. A lot of the times that's very simple. You look at reviews, you make sure the product is good, you look at some videos of the products and content. Okay, great. You have all you need. There's a lot more convincing that needs to be done with B2B.
Mm.
And that's one of the biggest differences within the nurturing cycles of both them, of both sides of the marketing. Within B2B, what's really important is there's really no successful campaign without successful nurturing, without successful email automation, because there's very little cycles where you're going to get someone's going to see your ad, or someone's going to see your landing page and then become a customer. A lot of the time, it's not the case. A lot of the times, it goes to a process that takes many months and requires a lot of convincing or a lot of building trust, which is really the key element in making sale, is being able to build trust. So within these successful B2B cycles, what we see a lot are cycles that prioritize doing that exact thing of building trust. And the way they do that is by sending a sequence of emails when someone has a free trial, or when someone signs up, or when someone requests to download an ebook, and a sequence of emails that focuses on providing testimonials, providing features, talking about use cases, promoting case studies. And there's a whole series of content that needs to be sent to be able to push the lead to the finish line, from marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead to an actual customer. That's typically how that nurturing cycle looks like in a very watered down version.
Mm. And how can businesses use LinkedIn for B2B lead generation?
So LinkedIn is huge, and LinkedIn goes also down to that part of marketing which is more nurturing. A lot of it, which is helping build trust, because getting a lead is one thing, but being able to convert them is a whole other thing. LinkedIn is a big part of both organic outreach, which is great, reaching out organically, but also building trust, because one of the things that builds trust better than anything else is a personal brand. If someone is on LinkedIn, let's say, and today, by the way, you have tools that are able to identify LinkedIn profiles of people that visit your website and connect with them. It's about really warming up a cold audiences, people that follow you, being able to provide them with, most importantly, educational and valuable content. Content that they see value in is huge for any business to do, and you're seeing it more and more. And it's a big part of building a personal brand. It's a big part of building trust with customers. It's a big part of also building trust with cold audiences that you've never interacted with before. So that's really where LinkedIn comes in and does a great job of helping companies.
Question I have for you is how to improve conversion rates in B2B marketing.
So really improving conversion rates in B2B marketing. Sometimes we do a lot of these audits with companies and landing pages or offers that are not converting. A lot of the times, really what it comes down to is what you're portraying to sell. And some of the key, there's a lot of fundamental rules within building landing pages and all that stuff. And one of them is focusing on benefits of the product and not features of the products. People do not really care about what your product does. People care about how your product can help them. So overall structure and layout of messaging on the landing pages are a crucial point. But besides for that, there's a lot of other tools that can help you convert audiences at a higher rate. Retargeting ads are a great thing as well. A lot of the times you'll see people will drop off on the website because they're just uncertain or they're not sure. Retargeting ads can do a great job of bringing them back for a second look. And but those are really the top two ways I would say. Look at the website, look at the structure, look at how it's built, do a lot of testing, a lot of testing. Sometimes all the answers are not written in any books. There's a lot of different products out there that are sold to different types of people from all walks of life. So do a lot of testing and make sure that you're really structuring things right from a offer standpoint, that your offer is relevant to the people that it's being marketed to. A lot of the times that will fix most of your problems.
Yeah. Wrapping it up, this when we talk about content and SEO, what type of content works best for B2B marketing?
So that content that works best is education content. Content that, and you'll have a lot of tools, by the way, that are able to tell you what people in your industry are asking, or if there's a specific solution that they're looking to for a specific problem, you'll be able to see the questions through a lot of software that's available. Answer the Public is one of them. Not sponsored, by the way, but
Yeah.
it's just a cool tool that you can use. And based on that, based on the questions that people typically have in your industry that can be somewhat related to what your product solves, I would focus on creating content around that and creating content that provides a lot of value, content that can have short videos around how to actually do that, whatever the action, or how your product, even better, how your product can help them with their specific problem. A problem based content around specific questions that are in somewhat relation to your product or your service or your business, that is the best type of content to create because that gives people solutions and that's what people look for.
Final question is, what role does SEO, is it different in B2B than B2C marketing? And how can people find you and contact you and connect with you?
Sure. Okay. SEO, there's been a lot of volatility with SEO, especially ever since AI come out. And there's a lot of these answers right now that are AI generated by a lot of the search engines. And a lot of people are going straight to AI tools right now for a lot of what they would go to search engines. But in terms of the difference, B2C is very transactional. And there's a very transactional approach to marketing. And some of that is changing a bit and has been changing a bit recently. But it's like someone's looking for a product. If you're looking for a tennis racket, a lot of specifically product based companies will make blogs, top 10 tennis rackets. I'll take that example. Or if you're looking for a home decor product or flowers, let's say, top flowers in whatever it may be, they'll make content around that, around products, around rankings. That's very common. With B2B, it's more about what problem someone's facing. So for a marketing company, it would be how to generate leads for a home services company, let's say, or how to generate leads for a, let's say you're dealing with a specific profession. We'll think about a specific profession right now. Let me give me an example of a. We'll do it. We'll do a live. We'll improvise here. Give me an example of a B2B professional that would in any industry.
Well, let's say, for example, podcasting.
Okay, podcasting. Someone who has a podcast and his goal is to reach more businesses. A lot of times with podcasts, it's not really a service-based business, but let's say a podcasting tool. All right, let's use that. A podcasting tool that wants to reach more podcast hosts to, make the podcast experience better for both parties, let's say. In that case, the podcast tool would create a campaign, would create content around benefits of using their tool based on the problems that podcast hosts are encountering. So let's say you are looking for a solution to have a better studio, better online podcast studio. They would typically make content around that. How to improve your podcasting experience. That's one example, but it goes beyond that. It really goes to content based on the problems that the audience is having.
Mhm. Interesting. Thanks so much for coming on, and enjoyed talking with you.
All right. Likewise. Thank you.